Good morning, everybody. All right, I'm going to invite you to stand up if you feel like it. Get that energy going and sing along with us. 2, 3, 4. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just what I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just what I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. 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 I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. Yay. You may be seated. Sit down, sit down. Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing this morning? Good, great. How's everybody else? Everybody just walking in, how are you? Yes. If you're watching on Facebook Live, how are you? I'll see that in a couple of seconds. All right. Good morning, everybody. I am Reverend Michael Everett Davis, and welcome to Unity of Indianapolis. Please join me in affirming our statement of truth. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God the good, omnipotent. Surely the presence of love is in this place. I can hear God's mighty power and the grace. I can hear the brush of angel wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of love is in this place. Surely the presence of love is in this place and in all places and in all people. Knowing and accepting this, we bless all people, no matter their race, color, creed, abilities, gender identification, or expression of love. Knowing that there are many paths to God, many names for God, many faces of God, but only one God. And this God is expressing through all creation in many, many ways. We come together today whether here in person or on Facebook Live, to experience and express the Christ Spirit that dwells within each of us. Do I have a daily word volunteer today? Or is it going to be me? It'll be me. All right. And today's daily word, Sunday, August 15th, 2021, is joy. I say yes to the joy that invites me in this moment. Joy is the call of my heart. Whether I am at work or at play, I bring a spirit of joyfulness to everything I do. More than a mood or an attitude, joy is a part of me and mine to live and to share. Like all aspects of my divine identity, joy flowers in my consciousness when I hold joyful thoughts and feelings. I express my joy as the excitement of anticipation, fascination at a new discovery, deep satisfaction in a relationship, and the tranquil glow from communing with God in prayer. My joy is contagious, and I love to share in it. I have feelings of joy when I take part in a friend's or family member's joyous moments, their celebrations and accomplishments. I feel quiet joy when I offer encouragement, and even when I give comfort, grateful to share the care and love of God. And 1 Thessalonians 5:16, rejoice always. And now let's recite our monthly affirmation. I'll go ahead and say it once first. I use my power of will to choose, to commit, and to be willing. Let's say that all together. I use my power of will to choose, to commit, and to be willing. And let's pray this. I use my power of will to choose, to commit, and to be willing. And now there's a quiz. What do you use your power of will for? To choose, to commit, and to be willing. Now let us prepare for our opening meditation and prayer with Louise.
Good morning. I know that many of us here today and in the world are concerned about all the things that are happening in the world, here in our own country and in nations that are impacted by our actions. We're concerned about, the COVID pandemic. We're concerned about the things that are erupting in the earth and the environment. And so what do we do with that concern as people of faith? I wanted to start our time of meditation today with this thought. Somebody once said, the airlines got it right. You put your own oxygen mask on first. And so we take care of our world by first taking care of ourselves. Unity teaches that we create our life experiences through our way of thinking. One way to invite a different way of thinking into our mind and free ourselves of all concerns so that we can align ourselves with Spirit is through meditation. So as we prepare for meditation today, let us give ourselves a gentle directive to relax. And so we softly close our eyes to minimize distractions. I invite you to let yourself experience both the inner and the outer posture of being truly relaxed. Notice your physical body and tell it to let go of all tension and stress. Take a deep breath and pause in this moment, just as you are, right where you are, and allow Spirit to restore your natural balance. Let your breathing slow a little, and in your mind say to Spirit, breathe me calm. Breathe me quiet. Breathe me clear. Breathe me calm. Breathe me quiet. Breathe me clear. It is from this place of being calm, quiet, and clear that we can begin to imagine a new reality for ourselves, those we love, and those we aren't even aware of. And we enter that reality through affirmative prayer. If we're feeling down or discouraged or distressed today for whatever reason, we affirm, I am lifted up by the power of God within. I am lifted up by the power of God within. If we are sad over a loss or we're anxious about a present situation or condition in our lives, we affirm, I accept the comfort and strength of God as my own. I accept the comfort and strength of God as my own. If we are unwell or in pain, we affirm, God's healing power is at work in me now. I am renewed in body, mind, and spirit. God's healing power is at work in me now. I am renewed in body, mind, and spirit. If national or global conditions tug at our heart and distract us from the certainty of our faith, we affirm, the peace of God lives in the quiet of my heart, and I pray peace and harmony for all. The peace of God lives in the quiet of my heart, and I pray peace and harmony for all. If finances are a struggle or we need greater abundance in any form, we affirm, I am connected to infinite, abundant spiritual supply. My good comes to me easily and often under God's holy grace. I am connected to infinite, abundant spiritual supply. My good comes to me easily and often under God's holy grace. And now we breathe and relax and go even deeper as we affirm. The presence of God permeates my whole being. The presence of God permeates my whole being. The light of God illumines my mind and leads me to right action in all things. The light of God illumines my mind and leads me to right action in all things. The joy of God fills me and flows from me to all life and all beings everywhere. The joy of God fills me and flows from me to all life and all beings everywhere. The voice of God calls me moment by moment, hour by hour, to my center of peace within. The voice of God calls me moment by moment, hour by hour, to my center of peace within. The love of God beats in my heart, consumes me, and radiates out to all who suffer, all who mourn, all who struggle, and all who hope for a better life. This very moment, the love of God beats in my heart, consumes me, and radiates out to all who suffer, all who mourn, all who struggle, and all who hope for a better life. In the stillness now, we rest and give ourselves completely to divine love. For the next couple minutes, we let ourselves become the channels for healing and hope in this world. And now we bring our attention back to this moment. Spirit of God, breathe me calm, breathe me quiet, breathe me clear, this day and always. Let us say this out loud together. Spirit of God, breathe me calm. Spirit of God, breathe me calm. Breathe me quiet. Breathe me. Breathe me clear. This day and always. And now we take that calm, that quiet, and that clarity out into our daily lives, that we might each be a living, breathing, moving, vital ocean of peace upon this planet. Amen.
In this moment, I live and let live, and I am given the grace to forgive. I love you. I forgive you. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I forgive you. Please forgive me. Thank you. In this moment, no cause to defend, no one against me, nothing to mend. In this moment, I need nothing at all. So I listen and answer the call. I love you. I forgive you. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I forgive you. Please forgive me. Thank you. In this moment, I release, I let go, I find peace.
Good morning. So we've had a very meditative lead-in to today's talk. Thank you, Louise. It was a beautiful meditation, and I love that it employed not only a spoken meditation, but going into that silence. And there was a focus on breath work in there. And then Michael just led us in a beautiful music meditation. All of these forms of meditating are means of mindfulness, means of being present in the here and now. The title for today's talk is Mind Your Own Business, right? Which sounds very confrontational, and it's usually a way to tell us to step back and stay in our lane. But the reality is, minding means a lot of things, right? If somebody says something and you say, oh, I don't mind, it means, oh, it doesn't bother me, right? So to mind can be to be bothered by. Mind your manners, mind your P's and Q's. So you're being mindful and aware of. Mind your teacher, mind your parents, meaning to obey. When I used to work retail, if somebody had a kiosk out front and they had to take a break, they would say, would you mind my kiosk? So to tend to, right? All of these things are different ways of applying that verb to mind. But at their root, each of them comes from holding in mind. Right? The word mind comes from a root meaning thought or memory. So in that bother sense, it doesn't bother me, I don't mind, that's something that we're holding on to from the past, right? You do this thing and now I mind because it's hanging there in my past. It's a memory that nags at me and it won't let my mind go. As opposed to simply being mindful of your manners or obeying. All of these things mean to hold in mind in some fashion. And as Louise mentioned, the third unity principle, the fact that we create our experience in this world through our thoughts, through that expression. Thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. Very familiar saying, right? So being mindful is so important. And there are so many methods and practices of mindfulness, and they work differently for different people. I was reading an article by Jack Canfield, the author and editor of the Chicken Soup for the Soul books, which, if I read correctly, our own Darlene Parnell has a new story that is going to be in one of the upcoming books, a cat story. Yeah, right. That's awesome. I believe that is her second in the Chicken Soup books. But Jack Canfield had an article, an online article, on methods of mindfulness from around the world. And I just want to go through a few here. Some of them will be very familiar, some of them will be interesting, some of them will be things that might appeal to you or might not. But from Norway, there's Friluftsliv, which literally means free air life. So it's about spending time out of doors and soaking up all of that beauty of nature. So you go out into the sunshine, you listen to the birds, the buzzing of the insects, and all of that takes you away from this hectic life, this hectic mind that we often get into in our daily life. It can help you do things like lower your heart rate, start stabilizing your blood pressure, all of these things, even just breathing better. All of these things are benefits of that mindfulness of being in nature. There's a very similar one that may be a little more familiar in name, forest bathing from Japan, which in Japanese is shirin-yoku. And it, however, is actually fairly recent. It began in the late 20th century. But it's a healing therapy that takes you out away from the modern life, or away from the technology and into nature. So if you're feeling stressed, you take a 15-minute walk in nature. You focus on the senses. What are you seeing? What are you hearing? What are you feeling? What do you smell? That is incredible mindfulness and calming. From Turkey, there's the practice of keyif, which is simply quiet relaxation, living in the moment. So maybe you don't have nature right at your back door, and maybe that's not practical for you to do on a regular basis. All right, so watch a sunset, sit on a park bench, feed some birds, whatever it takes. Just be present in that moment. And it can even be as simple as sharing a simple meal with friends. Have a glass of wine with your bestie, right? Like that is keyif. It's being in those simple moments. From Germany, there's Gemütlichkeit. Careful trying to say that, you might hurt yourself. Gemütlichkeit is about celebrating your appreciation of others. And it involves getting together with those people and honoring their presence in your life. So it could be a big party. It could be this giant celebration. It could be a very simple encounter. It could be as simple as encountering them and expressing one thing to them of your appreciation. So it can be broad, it can be small, but the practice is about that appreciation, sharing that appreciation, because it will give you a better sense of connection and empathy in that moment. From Tibet, the metta meditation, meaning loving kindness for metta, it's about cultivating a sense of benevolence toward others, where you go into a meditative state and you send those positive thoughts out to an individual from that meditative state. In the Buddhist tradition, it is one of the 4 sublime states of the mind. And then from Hawaii, one that I know is very familiar and was even referenced in the song that Michael led, that beautiful song by Melinda Wood Allen, but Ho'oponopono. So it's a process of forgiveness and reconciliation. The process is to recite, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. So those 4 steps again, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. You can think about a person that you wronged, whether you did it intentionally or not, and recite this mantra to help work through the guilt, the shame, the pain, all of that. It can also be for people who wronged you, because everything is reciprocal, right? So you can work that in to deal with that as well. It's great for when you know you're going to have a difficult conversation. You can recite this to yourself beforehand with that person in mind, so you go into that difficult conversation with more empathy, more grounded, more centered. You've noticed, I'm guessing, in a lot of these practices, we have that wide range. Some are very personal and solitary, right? Some are very communal, and some fall in between. I can't tell you which practices will work best for you in mindfulness, and these are just a handful. So each of us will be affected a little bit differently with mindfulness practices, but the goal is the same. We need to work on being present. So, and I'm trying to remember, I want to say this was Eckhart Tolle, but I could not find the source to confirm. Maybe somebody will confirm or tell me I'm wrong. But there was a quote, because I feel like it was from The Power of Now. There was a quote saying, to sit in meditation in a quiet room is wonderful, but it's no great feat. To sit in meditation in the middle of a busy street, that takes practice. And the thing is, our lives are very often that busy street. And yet we need to find ways to get centered, to get mindful in those moments. We have been reciting our monthly affirmations every month. And this month, of course, is will. I use my power of will. Ooh, now here's the trickier part of the quiz. We've had time in between. Can we remember what they are? I use my power of will to choose, to commit, and to be willing. You did very well. Thank you. So we've been reciting that, and they're wonderful. But I don't believe we've touched on our annual theme since the beginning of the year, because all of these fall under an annual theme. The annual theme, just to remind you, is how to stay centered no matter what. How to stay centered no matter what. And the subtitle is 12 Tools for Achieving Inner Peace in a Chaotic World. So these 12 powers are tools for remaining centered and at peace despite everything that is going on around us. So if we are being mindful and minding our business, it begs the question, how do we know what is our business to mind? What is ours to mind? Once we get ourselves centered, where do we put that focus? Now, as I've kind of alluded to, part of our business, as we all learned in elementary school when we're doing spelling lessons, right? Business is actually busyness. Because you learn to spell it, it's like, oh, there's an I in the middle of it. Oh, I get it, busyness. So our busyness of day-to-day life pulls us off center. That's the way of the world. So getting ourselves to look at what we are doing as we are doing it and centering in it is, to me, hugely important. It's so easy to get mindlessness going. There was research, it's a few years old, but I think it still holds true today. Dr. Fred Luskin of Stanford University said that a human being has approximately 60,000 thoughts per day, and 90% of those are repetitive. We had them the prior day. What's for dinner? Oh, I don't know. What do you want? I don't know, right? All these conversations. Oh, I should probably get in the shower. Oh, what do I wear today? All of these things that we just, 90% are the same thing. So if we fail to be mindful in those moments, our life just kind of goes by as this repetition day to day of the same thing. But it's not. Every day is different. So getting mindfulness methods into those daily routines can help us be present, even in our busyness. But to go beyond busyness to business, because the busyness does lead into our business, those things that are meant to be meaningful. Sometimes our business is what we hold in our heart. Sometimes our business is what pays the bills, right? But there should be some meaning to it. It's productive, it's profitable, it's meaningful, it's joyous. I loved that joy was our word today, right? Because there's so much of finding our business in finding our joy. So simply making a living, while great, and in this world necessary, that's not your true business. That's part of your busyness. There are things that we should find from our heart that are dear to us. I'm sure that everybody here has near and dear to their heart a sense of wanting personal growth, right? Spiritual growth. That's why we're here. That's why we talk about these things. What are other things for you? And people on Facebook Live, my apologies, I don't have a device here to see if you type in anything. But what are other things that are part of your joy, part of your business, things that matter to you? Family, wonderful. Friends, absolutely. Balance, perfect. Did I hear donuts? That's nice. I mean, I'm not going to argue. Donuts matter. There was something else back there? Reconciliation. Great. Yeah. Music. Inner peace. Oh, yeah. These are all important. And again, not everybody's going to have the same level of importance attached to each one. But for you, you know those things that matter to you. You know the things that make your heart just soar. So those things, like when you look at that list of things that were just mentioned, those aren't coming from a place of fear, right? Those come from a place of love. Those aren't coming from a place of lack. Those are coming from a place of abundance, which is a good way to kind of help us guide when you're looking at what is my business. Oh, that seems to be coming from fear or lack. That's probably not my business. That's part of my busyness. Those things that come from love and abundance, those are your business. This is not a timely reference, but to me it's always timely. But from Charles Dickens' Christmas Carol, Jacob Marley has a lovely response when Scrooge tells him that the ghost was always a good man of business. And Marley's response was, business? Mankind was my business. The common welfare was my business. Charity, mercy, forbearance, and benevolence were all my business. The dealings of my trade were but a drop of water in the comprehensive ocean of my business. These things, that caring, that welfare, those are the business of all of us on some level. It will vary how much time you're putting into those things and how much passion and energy you have for them, but those all matter. This is going to be the day of, I'm quoting things and I don't have the actual source. There was, right, so what's new? There was a social media post that caught my attention in the last couple of weeks, and it was from a gentleman. It was a parent who had a child out in a public place, and the child had a meltdown. We have all experienced this, either with our own children, nieces, nephews, friends' children, or just seeing it in public. We know, and it's uncomfortable, and the parent's embarrassed, and they're trying to get the child out, and the dad slung the child over his shoulder. He's taking him out of the shopping mall or wherever they were, and a stranger got up in his face and was like, wait, what's wrong with the child? It's like, he's just having a meltdown. It's like, how do I know? It's like, well, here's his name, whatever. How do I know that's actually your child and you're not kidnapping? And the dad was getting so exasperated, right? And finally the dad pulls out his phone and is like, here are our family photos, right? This is my child. He's just having a meltdown. And the end of this exasperated post then said, thank you. Because so many children can go missing, right? And people see a screening child and think, well, that's none of my business. Child welfare should be the business of all of us, right? So what sounded like a very angry post ended up being a very appreciative post. Speaking of the welfare of children, many of you have met my mother. She's come to many services here over the years. And I've said this before, but you may have forgotten. This was actually her grandmother's church. She attended here in the 50s, before this sanctuary was built, and they attended in the friendship room because she stayed with my grandmother for a while when she was in school. So many of you have met her. Many of you also know my mother made her transition on Monday. This week, we've been spending a lot of time going through photos. We also had a stack of 4 different memory books that she had filled out for family. Mostly because we gave them to her and said, Mom, fill this out because when you're gone, we won't know these things. But she did. She followed through. And I highly recommend that process, by the way. It's lovely to look back at things in her own words, in her handwriting. And between the books, sometimes you get slight variations on the same stories, which is also delightful. But what we found was not surprising. It confirmed the things that we knew about our mother that were important to her. Family, friends, the welfare of children, education for children and for herself. She loved continuing to learn all throughout her life. And giving support to people, helping people find their way and allowing them to be able to do what they needed to do. All of those things came through. I want to read one excerpt. The question asked was, what word best describes your life and explain why? Here is her response. Happy. It started when my parents were very much in love. Grandparents and relatives made things great. My brothers added great fun. School and church were so fulfilling, and education and teaching were some really wonderful years. Aging has been better than expected because at 80, independence and activity made me happy. Grandchildren and family success make life seem so adventuresome. The future holds secrets, and incurable optimism has always been with me. I firmly believe that my mother knew how to mind her business as well as her busyness. She knew what things were important, and she knew how to hold them in mind and be present. And if you ever met her and got to speak with her, she was present with you. Perhaps talking too much, but present with you. So may we all be so clear on what really matters to us and to the world. May we be willing and be open to do what we need to do, and may we have the presence of mind to act upon it in the here and now. And so it is. Namaste.
will. Okay. Let's hold her in our thoughts and in our prayers. And that her blood pressure will settle. And we see her whole, and we see her healthy, and we see her calm. And we thank you, God. So it is. Okay. Mm-hmm. I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless will seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us, so lift me up to the light of change. There is hurting in my family, and there is sorrow in my town. There is panic all across the nation, and there is wailing the whole world round. Oh, I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless will seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us, so lift me up to the light of change. May the children see more clearly, and may the elders be more wise. May the winds of change caress us, even though they burn our eyes. Oh, I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless will seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us, so lift me up to the light of change. Give me a mighty oak to hold my confusion, and give me a desert to hold my fears. Give me a sunset to hold my wonder, and give me an ocean to hold my tears. Oh, I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless will seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us, so lift me up to the light of change. Oh, I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless will seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us, so lift me up to the light of change. Stand up and sing that part with me. So lift me up to the light of change. So lift me up. So lift me up to the light of change, to the light of change. So lift me up to the light of change. So lift me up to the light of change. So lift me up, oh yeah, to the light of change. So lift me up to the light of change. Oh yeah.
Another week, a whole lot more blessings. Thank you, Ed, Thomas, Mike. Thank you all for being here. It's now time to prepare for our love offering. I invite you to go to our website, unityofindy.org, and donate online, or to mail a check at Unity of Indianapolis, 907 North Delaware, 46202. And as you prepare offering, we'd like to acknowledge any first-timers. That if you're here with us for the first time, just see some familiar faces. And Teresa, it's good to see you. And if you're watching online and this is your first time, type in your name in your chat box to let us know you were here. We believe that you were here by divine appointment, and we hope you were blessed and will return. And so now please take your offering in your hand or visualize your gift. I invite you to hold that offering in heart-centered intention as we affirm our blessing over our offering. Together, divine love, working through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, all that I receive, and I am grateful. And just a couple of announcements. Our board meetings today, following the service. And we're also working to get the work started on the garage, because we have that potential person that wants to rent the building. It's going to be called Legal Beans. They're going to be roasting coffee there. And so we want to be ready for them to be ready to turn that into an asset. So we're excited about everything that's ahead of us. We're going in the right direction, and thanks for all of your faith and support. Thank you.
All right, let us stand up for the peace song. I invite you to visualize in your mind the entire world standing hand to hand, heart to heart, and soul to soul. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us.
and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is.